I'm sure that this will give us extra power for the years to come. The learnings that we will have, how we've undone the various layers of development that have gone wrong, the support within the team that we have. There is no risk of a job being made redundant. We have demonstrated that there's a safety in our organization, contrary to many other teams that have done that in the past. And from there, we will rise again, and this will make us overall much stronger. Comes in quite an interesting pattern, because at the beginning you are in disbelief. This can't possibly be happening. And then comes the phase where you think, okay, this is just a blip. We got things wrong. This is an organization that has been successful in the past. And then you realize we got this really wrong. And the real risk is that you change your expectations. And this is where it becomes so fundamental to not change your own expectations and not say, well, okay, we've lost that one anyway already. Or you get used to a podium and you say, well, that wasn't so bad. We finished second and third. And in a way, losing doesn't become as painful anymore as it was before. And that's real risky. And we've lived through this emotion with the team, that finishing 5th and 6th or 4th and 5th, and suddenly you end up on the podium and you think it's a success, and it's not. You need to remind yourself how painful it is. If we would have had a 4th and 5th or 3rd and 4th last year, that would have been seen as a defeat. So it's still seen as a defeat, but you have to remind yourself. Yeah, I think is how our mind works. It's almost protecting ourselves from feeling the own mediocrity. And if you're not good enough, suddenly you score a result that is better than expected, you're quite happy about that. But when you scroll back and say, well, how would we have felt 6 months ago about such a result? You come to the realization this is not where we expect ourselves to be. Formula One is physics, not mystics. And we can almost trace back to the day we made a decision that sent us on the wrong development path. In simple terms, it's we continue to develop the car at very low ride heights. That means on the floor. And we soon realized when the car got going that we weren't able to run it there. It's the famous bouncing or porpoising that everybody was talking to. So our development direction was simply wrong. And to unwind that, undo, you first have to realize what is it that we got wrong, because our tools clearly didn't show us that was a problem. Why didn't our highly sophisticated instruments not show us that bouncing was a problem? And then you start to scientifically undo this, and it's almost like you're peeling layers of an onion off. There's one problem you think is the essential one, and then there's another layer and another layer. And Formula One is so complex that it takes a while to actually come down to the ground and say, this is what we believe has gone wrong, and then it takes a while to recover. I believe that we have the important pillars in place. We have the right financial structure, the right kit, the right organization, the good drivers, the right engine. Hopefully the management is in a good place. So there is no reason why this team that has won 8 consecutive championships suddenly took an idiot pill. So that's certainly not the case. But we can't really predict when we're able to come back, because if another team has been gotten it right straight from the get-go, and Ferrari and Red Bull have done that pretty well, it can take time to literally catch back up and fight with these guys in the front. Definitely yes, and this is the learning on the job. I think because I'm a control freak in a way, in the past, knowing for me was enough. As long as I know what's going on, mistakes happen, and that's okay for me because I see things coming and I like the exchange and sometimes the argument within the group to come to the right solutions. But this time around, at a certain stage, I wanted to take control back. And obviously that is not always great received by engineers and scientists that have been working on singular topics for a long time. But we've talked about it. At certain stages they were like, okay, back off a bit, we'll sort this. And then things struggled and they continued to be a problem. And at a certain stage, I said, do you give me the benefit of the doubt that I have reason to question? Yes. So, okay, this is me questioning here. This is not meaning that I'm suddenly micromanaging every detail of the, let's say, the development of the car or the engine. It's just about understanding where and when did we got the junction wrong, for me to comprehend intellectually of how to avoid that in the future. Definitely. I think that I've changed personally through the process. I think not always to the better at the beginning, but you need to realize and look at yourself and say, actually got that wrong. And self-reflection and introspection is something that I've always done. And this year I got it wrong on several occasions, and probably to an effect where my control freakishness and trying to sort it myself annoyed some of the people that were actually in charge of the science. So I will try to, in a way, take the things out of this learning that I think were good, but definitely I will be a different person next year, different manager. The control freak is still within me a lot. The force is big, but there are certain areas where I have to just dial myself back a little bit and trust. Remember, we have talked about the sentence, the days we lose are the days that our competitors will regret the most, because these are the days we learn. And in the past, in the last 10 years, we were talking about that phenomenon about a race weekend or a spell of races where it gone wrong and suddenly everything made sense and we learned and the car was fast again. Now here we are talking season almost finished and we haven't won a single race. So it's been making us tougher all year long, because you need to cope not only with a blip of a race, but you need to cope with a season that has actually gone wrong. And I'm sure that this will give us extra power for the years to come. The learnings that we will have, how we've undone the various layers of development that have gone wrong, the support within the team that we have. There is no risk of a job being made redundant. We have demonstrated that there's a safety in our organization, contrary to many other teams that have done that in the past. And from there we will rise again, and this will make us overall much stronger.